I'm Sarai.
And I'm Haley.
And this is Seamwork Radio. Welcome back to Seamwork Radio, where we share practical ideas for building a creative process so you can sew with intention and joy. Today, we're talking about our top 5 fabrics for summer sewing. We're going to cover why these fabrics are perfect for hot weather, specific characteristics to look for when you're shopping, and of course, share our favorite Seamwork patterns that work beautifully with each fabric. All right, so our icebreaker for today, Haley, what's the coolest, most comfortable thing you've ever sewn for really hot weather?
Oh, I've sewn a lot of hot weather things because
Me too.
I lived in Southern California, so a lot of the things I made were for hot weather.
We both come from hot places.
Yeah, exactly. I would say, I'm going to think about recent years. My most worn, me-made warm weather thing is a lisle dress that I made. I have 2, actually. One is in like a jersey knit, which is fine. I do wear it. But I made one in a rayon knit that's or not a rayon, a rib knit. It does have a little, I think it's a rayon cotton blend. So I wasn't lying. It's perfect. It has like the right amount of texture that it doesn't feel like too clingy, as sometimes like rayon knits can feel really clingy. And it's just like really floaty and cool against the skin. And I wear it at least once a week when it's really hot. What about you?
That sounds really nice. I think mine is my baker dress that I made last year, which I made in a really lightweight linen, which is one of the fabrics we're going to be talking about today, and with little lace details. And it's really floaty and loose fitting, which is just nice when it's really hot out. You could even throw it over a bathing suit. So that's one. I think the mica that I made also, which is also very loose fitting linen caftan style dress.
They're cousins.
Yeah. Kissing cousins. Both are very nice when it's really, really hot. You just throw them on and feel like you're not wearing any clothes at all, which is how I want to feel when it's that hot out.
100%.
Well, if you have an icebreaker question for us for a future episode, we want to hear it. So leave it in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and we'll answer it in a future episode. All right, so I think we're all guilty of getting more excited about fall sewing than anything else, at least I am. There's just something really appealing about cozy sweaters and beautiful wool coats, and it just feels like a time where everything is changing, and that makes me really excited to sew some new clothes. But I personally also really love sewing for summer because I just love easy one-and-done outfits that I don't have to think about too much, like dresses or rompers. I just love that. And when it's hot outside, I think what you wear really matters for your comfort. So every summer here in Oregon, we always get at least one really, really bad heat wave that I feel totally unprepared for some reason, even though it happens every single year. And summer is also just such a great opportunity to play with color and print and interesting silhouettes that might feel maybe a little bit too bold in other seasons. And I found that the right fabric really makes all the difference between a summer garment that I wear constantly and one that just sits in my closet. So that's why today I wanted to talk about the 5 fabrics that I think are absolute staples for summer sewing. So these are the ones that are going to keep you cool, they're going to look beautiful, and they're going to work with so many different patterns. So Haley, what do you look for in a summer fabric? Is it all about kind of breathability to you, or are there other things that you prioritize?
Breathability and comfort is definitely like a really top concern, but something else I also think about is the care of the fabric.
Yes.
I do not want to be spending tons of time ironing things in the summertime because gross. I don't want to stand at the iron more than I have to in the summer. I like things that are just really easy to care for. A lot of my me-made stuff I tend to wash in the washing machine and then hang dry, and I don't want to like really fuss with it beyond that. So I tend to stay away from crisp fabrics that don't look intentional when they have a little wrinkle in them.
Yeah.
Shirtings can be that way. Sometimes lawn, depending on the quality of it. I definitely live in knits and linen most in the summertime.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's a really good point. In the summer, I also like to especially line dry things because it's nice out and you can actually put things outside and have them dry instantly, which is a big change because it's usually raining here. So yeah, that's a really good point.
What about you? What are some of the qualities that you look for?
I think breathability is a big one for me and just comfort overall. I think color is another thing that's really important for me in the summer. I just like to be light in the summer. Everything gets a lot lighter. I wear a lot of dark colors the rest of the year and in the summer and spring too, but mostly in summer, everything kind of transforms into, I love white and cream, ivory, all those kinds of shades in summer. So that's another thing I look for in summer fabrics for sure.
Yeah. Do you have any summer fabric pet peeves?
I think things that don't travel well, because I tend to travel more in the summer. So things that kind of goes back to what you're saying about being easy to care for.
Yeah.
I think that's probably it for me. What about you?
Yeah, I guess that the qualities I look for was also a pet peeve. Yeah, things that are really easy to care for are a top priority for me. You talked a little bit about the colors that you gravitate towards. Are there any like prints that you gravitate towards more in the summertime?
Well, I love florals year round. I wear a lot of florals year round and stripes. Both those things definitely I wear a lot in the summer. I love Liberty prints in the summer, like the lighter Liberty prints are really, really nice for summer clothing. Little Liberty tops and things like that are so beautiful and fun to make and easy to wear with jeans or shorts or whatever. So those are the kind of things that I sew a lot with in the summer, and little details, lace and things like that too.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think that I tend to be drawn to the same kinds of prints year round. I wear a lot of stripes and some plaids here and there, but I think that the colors change the most. They tend to be the same colors. I wear a lot of blue, I wear a lot of green, but they tend to be a little bit more vibrant versions of those colors, where in the fall and the winter and even the spring, I gravitate towards a little bit more muted version. I think especially the climate where we live, it's overcast and it just feels right to be in like a cozy muted shade. In the summertime, I don't mind like standing out a little bit more and wearing something a little bit more like vibrant.
Yeah. One thing that I've been drawn to this year as we're in spring that I haven't really worn a lot of in the past is yellow, especially like a really creamy, almost beige, very muted yellow. I just think it's so pretty. And it's not a color I usually wear. Yellow is hard for a lot of people, I think, because it depends so much on the shade.
Yeah.
There's just like such a range, and the wrong yellow can make you feel kind of sick looking. I think it's a challenging color to wear, but if you find a shade that you really love, I think it's so beautiful.
I just put an offer on Depop this morning for a pair of like butter yellow Adidas sneakers, because I also have been looking at that and thinking that would look so good with like the brighter blues that I like to wear and like the more chartreusey greens and denim, and it kind of goes so well with all of the colors I already like to wear in the summer. So that's kind of fun to like discover those shades that like fit really well into what you already wear, but you don't necessarily reach for that often.
I think I'm also very inspired by the natural world around me. And right now, as we're recording this, it's spring and there's daffodils everywhere. And every time I see them, it just makes me happy. So I think that's also influencing me quite a bit.
I love a daffodil.
Me too.
It's like hope. Spring is here. It's coming. Brighter days ahead. All right. So for the summertime, do you tend to gravitate towards loose or more fitted garments?
Definitely loose fitting in the summer. I like a more fitted garment if for like a dress up occasion. My birthday's in the summer, so if we go out somewhere nice for my birthday or something like that, I do like a nice fitted dress. But for the most part, loose fitting all the way.
I agree with you, but I feel like there's like a boundary on the loose fitting where it almost becomes more cumbersome. Like I don't want to be like tangled.
Yeah, too much fabric.
Yeah. Then it just becomes like too much, and then I'm overstimulated by the amount of fabric that's going on.
Plus hard to climb into a hammock.
I do like this is true. Pause. These are real problems I wish that I had. But I was going to say, I love a fitted base layer though, like a fitted tee, something like very like comforting about being like snug in a nice like lightweight cotton.
That's true. Tank tops and things like that definitely are more snug for me.
Yeah, I always have to have a base layer on. This is like the millennial in me where I always want like a fitted tank underneath everything. Whether you can see it or not, there must be a fitted tank.
I'm just happy to wear less clothing in the summer because I'm big into layers the rest of the year because I get cold so easily. So I like being able to not wear all those layers.
Yeah, totally. I get that. All right. Well, let's get into some of these summertime fabrics. I'm going to kick us off with what I would say is the ultimate summer fabric, in my opinion, which is linen. Linen is made up from the fibers of the flax plant, and it's been used for thousands of years, especially in hot climates. What makes linen really perfect for the summer is that it's really breathable, it's moisture wicking, it actually gets stronger than wet, unlike a lot of fabrics. So if you're sweating through your clothes, you don't have to also worry about like bursting out of them. That could be a real concern. I don't know. It also has this really beautiful natural texture that's really casual, but still somehow manages to look elevated. The one thing that people sometimes struggle with is the wrinkles, but I really have come to see that as part of linen's charm. It has this perfectly lived in, relaxed summer look to it. So I tend to just embrace the rumpled look of it instead of fighting against it.
Yeah.
Linen comes in tons of different weights. Lightweight linens are really great for flowy dresses and loose tops. A more mid-weight linen would work really beautiful for pants or skirts or a top that's more structured. And then heavier linens work for jackets and more tailored pieces, like if you wanted to make a summer suit. Lovely.
Yeah.
Love a heavyweight linen for that. Or even just a trouser. A heavier weight linen would be wonderful for that as well.
I do want to throw out, for those of you who are a little put off by the wrinkles or the care of linen, maybe, the Robert Kaufman Brussels washer linen is a linen rayon blend, and that's really, really nice. It kind of has the look of linen. It's a little bit easier to work with, and it doesn't wrinkle quite so much.
Yeah, that's a great point. Things that have a little bit of rayon in them, definitely. It tends to relax the wrinkles a little bit. So some of my favorite Seamwork patterns for linen would be the Joss pants. I think that this is my all-time favorite pattern for linen that we have in our catalog. It's a pull-on wide leg cropped pant. It's super breezy and it's perfect for linen. It just like really fits the vibe. Dell is kind of, in my opinion, like the jumpsuit version of Joss. It's a pull-on jumpsuit. It has a really great gathered strap detail. And it also has that really relaxed vibe that works with linen. And then lastly, the Baker dress, which is a smock dress. Sarai mentioned it earlier. I feel like you can take this a bunch of really great directions. Sarai made hers with lace accents, which really like elevates it and makes it feel a little bit more special. Or you could make it in like a cool striped linen and make something that's like a little bit more like crunchy and earthy. And I feel like it fits a lot of different styles really well.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I wanted to mention that we're working on a video right now all about linen for our YouTube channel. So it'll be out by the time you guys are listening to this. So if you want even more tips for sewing with linen, be sure to check out that video. There's a lot of great tips in there. All right, our next one is eyelet lace. And this is one of my favorites. It's also really quintessentially summer to me. So eyelet is a fabric that has little holes or eyelets punched into it, often in really beautiful patterns. And then these are embroidered to create that eyelet look. So what makes eyelet perfect for summer are that those holes actually create some ventilation. And that's why it's always been really popular for hot weather for a really long time. And it just has this wonderful dimensional texture that adds interest to even the most simple garments. And there's just something so feminine and classic about it, but you can also style it in really modern ways too. So a few things to keep in mind with eyelet: you'll often need to line it or underline it, at least partially, if you don't want it to be see-through. If you want to maintain some modesty, you might want to do that because obviously with all those little holes, it's going to be a little bit see-through. Cotton eyelet is the most common, but you can also find it in linen or linen blends, which combines two great summer fabrics. So that's another really good choice. White is the classic choice for eyelet, but colored eyelets can be really beautiful too. I'm really loving all the pastel and even black eyelets that I've been seeing lately. I love a black eyelet. I just think
same.
Black eyelet is so pretty and easy to wear, and you can wear it year round too, which I think is really nice. Not that you can't wear white eyelet year round. I guess both you can wear year round, but black is, it's a classic. It can be really pretty to underline eyelet with a bright color, and I think that's another good use for black eyelet, because with a white, if you put a bright color underneath it, you're going to be able to see through the fabric and see the white through the fabric part as well as the eyelets. But with black, obviously it's going to be more opaque, and you'll just have that bright color kind of peeking out from the little holes, and it's so pretty. I used to have a skirt from the 1950s that was black eyelet, and it was underlined with a bright blue color. And it was just so pretty. We have a really great video up on our YouTube channel that goes over 5 tricks for sewing with eyelet, so be sure to check that out too. One of the things that I think is a little bit tricky with eyelet is hemming. They have often a scalloped hem or some shaping around the hem that you want to use, and making sure that that hem looks great and those scallops match up well can be a little bit tricky. So if you watch that video, we have some tips and tricks for you for that. So some perfect seamwork patterns for eyelet that I really like. The new Yarrow skirt is made for border print, so it's perfect for eyelet because you can use those beautiful scalloped lacy borders from the eyelet, which I just think I love that. I actually have this vintage dress pattern that's been sitting near my desk for a while that I want to make. That's a wrap dress that uses the eyelet along the wrap.
Oh, pretty.
So the eyelet kind of goes across your body. And I think that would be really pretty too. If you used a wrap dress or a wrap jumpsuit like Michelle, you could do that. That would be really, really pretty too. Another choice is a shift dress like Reed. It's just a really simple shape that looks great in eyelet. And we actually made one of the samples for Reed on our website in eyelet. So if you want to visualize it, you can. But I just think a simple shift dress in a beautiful fabric like eyelet that makes a statement is just so pretty, so easy to make, so easy to wear, perfect for summer, and it just looks amazing.
One thing that you could also do with the border on eyelet is you can use that as a trim as well. So if you don't necessarily have any straight edges like necklines or hems on your pattern, you can cut off a piece and treat it as if it's a trim. I made a wedding dress once that was a silk eyelet, and we utilized the scalloped trim edge as a trim on like the neckline and actually as like an inseam trim in a couple places as well. It was really beautiful.
Yeah, I've seen that on vintage garments and ready-to-wear garments where you can use the border from the eyelet, for example, on the skirt, if you just have a straight skirt, and then you can cut off some of it and use it on the sleeves or something so it looks like it matches even though it's cut off.
Yeah, I love a fabric like eyelet because I feel like it really gets you thinking about all of the different ways that you can maximize the use of the fabric. And it's such like a fun creative puzzle.
It is. It's really fun. I will mention that if you want to do any of these things, buy extra fabric.
True. Very true.
Because you will need extra fabric with eyelet just if you want to use those borders.
Great point. Okay, I'm going to talk next about cotton lawn, which I know is a favorite of Sary's.
Yeah.
Let's get into it. So cotton lawn is just a really lightweight, fine cotton. It's a plain weave. It has a smooth, crisp hand, and it's really perfect for sewing summer garments out of. It's 100% cotton, so it's totally breathable and natural. It has the perfect balance of structure and drape. It doesn't tend to cling to your body, but it's also not stiff either. It takes prints beautifully, which is why you see so many gorgeous floral lawns out there, and it's really easy to sew with and care for. You can just throw it in the washing machine and it's going to wash up just fine and come out the way that it went in, which we love. We love an easy care kind of a garment. Cotton lawn is like the summertime equivalent of wool flannel. It just behaves really well and it feels really great to work with. If you're a beginner sewer, I feel like this is a really great fabric to work with because, again, it's really easy to sew with. Oftentimes it comes in prints, and so you can recognize the right and wrong side. If you're a beginner, this can be really helpful to help you start to visualize the way garments come together. And it's just like a really accessible kind of luxury fabric, which I love. It's not as expensive as silk, but it has that high quality feeling that makes your garment feel really special. One of the highest quality lawns that you'll find out there is the Liberty Tana lawn. Sari, I know that you made a video recently about Liberty fabric.
Oh,
right?
Yeah, we sure did. That was really fun to make. So we have a video about Liberty fabric. What is it? Why is it so expensive? Is it worth it? And some affordable alternatives to Liberty fabric. So definitely check out that video. It was really fun to make, and I'm a big fan of Liberty. So spoiler alert, I think it's often worth it.
There's like a pile of swatches on the desk across from mine at the office of Liberty fabrics, and I eye them every time I'm in, like, ooh, maybe I should make something from Liberty this summer.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that with cotton lawn, we've mentioned it being kind of luxurious. I think there is a really big difference in quality between different types of lawns.
Yes.
I've bought cotton lawn before online that I've gotten, and it's been kind of overly crisp and kind of cheap feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think there's a really big difference in quality, and you can get some that don't feel so great, and then you can get on the other end of the spectrum, the Liberties, which are almost like silk. So
yeah, that's a really great point. And I think I mentioned that a little bit earlier when it came to caring for garments. And those more crisp lawns can be wonderful if you're making something like a shirt where you want that crispness, especially like a button-up style shirt. But just, yeah, I think that's a great thing to be aware of, is that there is this kind of big range.
yeah.
Speaking of YouTube videos, you mentioned our Liberty one. We also have a video this week that's all about sewing with cotton. So definitely check that out and pick up some good tips along the way.
Yeah. Point is, we have a lot of fabric videos on our YouTube channel if you want to learn about fabric.
Well, it's the thing that people, even myself included, I make bad fabric choices sometimes still. It's something that you're constantly learning about as a sewer.
Yeah, and it's great to have videos to show you because you can really get a sense of how the fabric moves.
Totally. Let's talk about things you can sew with lawn. You can sew so many things with lawn. Two that came to mind immediately was the Leanne dress. Our Leanne dress is like a midi length dress. It has an empire waist. It's fitted through the bodice and has a gathered skirt. I think that Leanne would look fantastic in a print, and with all of the gorgeous lawn prints out there, it would make just a beautiful, fun sundress that you would want to reach for season after season. Another one that would be great is the fifer. I think that the little bit of body that lawn tends to have would be really beautiful on the ruffle that's on the neckline of fifer. Fifer is a pullover woven tank that has a ruffle embellishment along the neckline. So I think that a little bit of body would really fluff up that ruffle in a really great way without being, like too.
Yeah. That would be very, very pretty. Especially in a Liberty, I think that would just be gorgeous.
Add it to your sewing list.
Yeah. What I like about when I'm sewing with Liberty is patterns that don't take a lot of fabric because it's so expensive.
True. A Leanne dress might be a little bit of an investment.
A little bit, yeah. All right. Next up, we have rayon challis, which is a true summer workhorse in my wardrobe. So rayon challis is a lightweight, semi-synthetic fabric with a soft, slightly matte texture to it. So what makes rayon challis perfect for summer, it's incredibly soft against the skin. So it's almost like wearing nothing at all. It's very cool. And it has beautiful flowing drape that just moves with you. And despite it being so light, it's usually not see-through, which is always a plus. Some of these other fabrics that we talked about might be a little bit sheer, and you might need to add lining and things like that, or wear a slip, and that just adds more layers. So with rayon challis, you don't necessarily need that. And it comes in endless prints and colors, so you can find exactly what you want. There's just so much out there when it comes to rayon challis. So one thing to note is that rayon does absorb moisture, so it's not the best choice if you're going to be really sweaty. But for everyday summer wear, I think it's just absolutely wonderful. And working with rayon challis can be a little bit tricky because it does tend to shift around. So it's got that kind of drapey quality to it that we love, but that means it can be a little bit tricky to work with. But once you get the hang of it, the results are definitely worth it. I'd recommend using a rotary cutter and a mat to cut if you have one. That helps with that shifting around business. And we also have a YouTube video about sewing with rayon. So that also has additional tips for working with rayon that can be really, really helpful. So definitely go to our YouTube channel and check it out. We have a playlist that has all of our fabric videos in it. So you can just click on that and find the fabric videos that you're looking for. And some patterns that I think are perfect for rayon challis. So first is ash, which I have made 3 times now. I think they're all in rayon challis. All 3 of my, yes, they are. I've got 2 black floral one, or 1 black floral one black that has like cats all over it, kitty print and florals on it. And then another one that's a red floral. And they're all wonderful to wear. I actually wear them year round. In the summer, I wear them. There's slip dresses. So they're very simple shape. And I love a slip dress. And then the rest of the year, I layer it over a long sleeve t-shirt and stay warm. So rayon challis is just one of those fabrics that I think you can really wear year round. The next one that I'll mention is the sage blouse, which is a very lovely romantic blouse. I've made that one in a Liberty print, but I think it would also be great in a rayon challis. So sage is a princess seam blouse with long flowing sleeves that have an elasticized cuff. And I think that'd be really nice for summer because it's not too fitted. It's just fitted enough where it kind of glides over your body,
Yeah.
but it's not super tight. So I think it's another one that's kind of a year-round pattern for me. And then porter, I think, would also be really, really lovely in a rayon challis. So porter is a sort of loose-fitting, drapey shirt dress. And I think it'd be very cool and very easy to wear in a rayon challis. And you can make it in a beautiful print since rayon comes in so many gorgeous prints. So those are all great choices.
I love those. Yeah, rayon challis, once you get the hang of it, I feel like it can really elevate lots of garments. It's definitely a fave around here. Lastly, I want to talk about swimwear fabric. Something about me is that I love sewing swimwear. I know that it's intimidating for a lot of people, but I really enjoy it. And I think that people build it up as being something that's maybe a little bit more challenging than it is. So if you haven't given swimwear a try, I definitely encourage you to try it out this summer because I think that it can be just a really fun summer sewing adventure. In the wintertime, we make outerwear and we have these like big meatier projects to build our skills, sink our teeth into, and swimwear can be like the summertime equivalent of one of those. Swimwear fabric is typically a 4-way stretch. It's a nylon spandex blend typically, and it's designed specifically with water activities in mind. What makes swimwear fabric perfect for summer is that it's designed to hold up to chlorine, salt water, and sun exposure. It dries quickly, which is obviously really essential for swimwear. The 4-way stretch makes it incredibly comfortable and allows for movement. And today's swimwear fabrics just come in a lot of really amazing prints and colors, and the options are really endless. If you want a swimsuit with donuts on it, you could make a swimsuit with donuts on it. Trust me. And beyond the obvious swimsuit, you could also make great activewear out of this fabric as well. Think things like bike shorts or leggings for hot weather activities. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we're fond of like a swimming hole. So oftentimes that requires some hiking, and then you get the reward of swimming after. So those kind of hybrid garments are really great as well.
Yeah.
A few things that you should know before you dive into sewing swimwear fabric is you'll definitely want to use a ballpoint or a stretch needle just to keep your fabric from running because it will be prone to runs if you use just a regular needle. A walking foot can be really helpful for keeping everything from stretching out as you sew. Using woolly nylon thread in your loopers, if you're serging, makes it much more comfortable. Those seams against your body won't be quite as abrasive. And you'll want to get familiar with elastic applications, especially for swimwear. Buy swimwear-specific elastic, which is made to hold up against chlorine over time. Usually it's a cotton and rubber blend. I think a lot of people are really intimidated by sewing swimwear, but I think it's so satisfying once you get the hang of it. Plus, custom swimwear actually fits you properly. Once you experience a custom-made swimsuit, it's really hard to turn back to ready-to-wear swimsuits. So, Sarai, tell me about your swimsuit sewing experiences.
I've made some lovely swimsuits. I made a swimsuit last summer, actually. I made the Reese swimsuit, which is one of our patterns, which is a very simple shape. And I made it in a red and white kind of micro stripe seersucker swimwear fabric. So it's a little bit puckered. And it is so cute and it fits so well. And I love that it has built-in cups. So it's actually supportive. It's adorable. I absolutely love that swimsuit. And I've made swimsuits in the past as well. I've made a 2-piece swimsuit in the past. And then I made this really cute 70s vintage pattern swimsuit in like a black floral, like black with big bright flowers on it. It was really cool. It had like cutouts in the side. Very interesting pattern. Not super supportive though. So I like a swimsuit that has cups or has a shelf bra or something built into it to help me stay contained.
Yeah, totally. No wardrobe malfunctions when you make your own swimwear.
No.
At least that's the hope. Yeah, we have some really great swimwear patterns. You mentioned Reese, which is just kind of a classic Maylot style swimsuit. It's a great like canvas for really cool printed fabrics or things that have a great texture, like you mentioned. I have a wonderful like gingham print swimwear fabric that I'm thinking I might have time to sew Reese in before I go on vacation. We'll see. But I love Reese because it has that really utilitarian kind of cut to it. It's really simple, but it the neckline makes it feel really feminine and soft still. It's a real A+ design.
I'd really like to make it in white. I think we made one of the samples in white, and it is so pretty.
It is.
And I love a white swimsuit.
Yeah. I wish that I'm so white that a white swimsuit on me it's reflective.
A little blinding.
But I love them on other people. Another swimsuit pattern that we have that I really like is the Maggie swimsuit. It's kind of a vintage-inspired two-piece. It looks really classic and like a navy swimwear. I could really picture that. Or I think it would look equally as amazing in something like a lipstick red or like a bright shade of blue. I always think of like patriotic colors for swimsuits. And then you could also make something like K. K is a lounge set that we have. It's a bra top, kind of a shelf bra top in bike shorts. And that would be really great for outdoor adventuring, hiking, jumping into waterfalls, things of that nature.
Yeah, that would be really cute. All right. Well, we went over a lot today, so I'm going to recap our 5 favorite fabrics for summer sewing. Number 1 was linen, which is the breathable classic that actually gets stronger when it's wet. Eyelet lace, a beautiful ventilated fabric that has dimensional texture. Cotton lawn, crisp yet soft with a perfect balance of structure and drape. Rayon challis, incredibly soft with beautiful drape for flowy summer garments. And then we have swimwear fabric, so you get the technical performance material that's perfect for water activities and more. So those are our favorite fabrics for summer. What's your takeaway?
I think that my takeaway is that doing these episodes is such a fun, creative exercise of thinking outside of the box for matching fabric and patterns together. And I would almost suggest it to people listening who maybe struggle to like use different kinds of fabrics in their sewing as like a fun exercise to just get yourself thinking about all of the ways in which you can use a fabric that's maybe new to you or you don't use very often. It's just really fun. And I am leaving this episode feeling just really inspired.
Me too. It's kind of funny because I've been thinking about summer sewing and I just did a closet clean out, which Haley and I were just talking about before we started recording. And I was thinking, gosh, I have so much clothing already. I don't really need to sew that much this summer. But every time I start thinking about patterns and fabrics for summer, I get so excited. And I want to make more, especially with our talk of eyelet and our talk of cotton lawn, 2 of my favorite fabrics of all time. So now I'm a little bit torn. But I think my big takeaway is that I think fabric itself can just be really, really inspiring and can really get the creative juices flowing. And so if you are feeling kind of uninspired, or if there's a season of sewing that you feel kind of uninspired by or don't feel like doing quite as much, learning a little bit more about fabric can really help just kind of rev up your engine again. So speaking of creating beautiful summer garments, let's talk about one technique that can really elevate your summer sewing, which is invisible zippers. They're perfect for so many summer garments, from dresses to skirts, and they create such a clean, professional finish. And if you've ever struggled with invisible zippers or you just want to perfect your technique, we have a new skills workshop launching in June, and it's all about sewing invisible zippers. So come along with us as Erica teaches you everything that you need to know to master the skills of sewing beautiful invisible zippers with video lessons, a live session, and the support of our community as you grow this skill. So if you want to join this workshop, all you need to do is be a Seamwork member. So head over to seamwork.com to learn more about membership and all the benefits, including access to this upcoming workshop. And if you liked this episode, please consider leaving us a review. We would love to hear your reviews. We love hearing from you guys. You can also follow us on YouTube at Seamwork Video. We mentioned YouTube many times in this episode. You can also follow us on Instagram at Seamwork. And if you'd like to become part of the Seamwork community, head over to seamwork.com to learn how to join. And that's it for us this week. I'm Sarai.
And I'm Haley.
And this is Seamwork Radio. Seamwork Radio is brought to you by the team at Seamwork. Seamwork's an online community that supports you in creating a wardrobe that feels right for you. When you join us at Seamwork, you become part of our private community of makers, and you also get access to monthly sew-along classes, a library of over 200 sewing patterns, and tons of great resources to help guide you through the sewing adventure that you choose. podcast listeners can get half off a Seamwork Unlimited membership, which means you can download as many of those 200 plus patterns as you want at any time, and our community will be there to guide and support you. If you'd like to join us for half off, just visit seamwork.com/go/podcast50. You can also find us on Instagram at Seamwork or visit our YouTube channel, which is called Seamwork Video. We love hearing from you, so let us know if there's a topic or a personal story that you'd like us to cover. Thanks for listening to Seamwork Radio.